The following is a presentation of Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country. Online at highplainsradio.net and on the 101.1 KFNF mobile app. The Hoxie Indians are on the air. Coverage of high school athletics on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country, is brought to you in part by
Aqua Shield Roofing, Painter Oil, Equity Bank, Decatur Health, Decatur Co-op, First State Bank of Hoxie, Next Tech, Hoxie State Insurance, Nutrient Ag Solutions of Hoxie, The Bank, Watkins Insurance and Realty, Woofeter Pump and Well, and United Northwest Federal Credit Union.
High school basketball is on the air. Here's Sam Knoll.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome here from Colby High School, where the road to Manhattan starts tonight between the Hoxie Indians and the Oakley Plainsmen. I'm Sam Knoll, giving you all the play-by-play action, as after tonight, one of these teams will be one step closer to making that trip to the state tournament. They still got to win a semifinal game and a sub-state championship game, but hey, you're putting yourself in the driver's seat with a win tonight. It's 6-seeded Hoxie, it's 11-seeded Oakley. Let's dive a little deeper into our matchup. The Oakley Plainsmen come in tonight with a record of 9-12, good enough to earn the number 11 seed this year in the 2A sub-state. The Plainsmen are coming in on a little bit of a hot streak, having won 2 of their last 3 games as they took down Ellis on February 14th, 56-52, would lose on the road to Hayes TMP on the 18th of February, 64-36, but come back to beat Cheyenne in their final regular season finale, 81-46, as it was all Oakley from the second quarter on. The Cougars of Cheyenne actually led 15-14 after the first quarter, but Oakley would outscore them 23-9 in the second, 21-10 in the third, and 23-12 in the fourth for an 81-46 win. The Plainsmen so far this season are being led by a cast of characters, including Mason Jackson, 6'1" senior, who averages 10.9 points per game and 10.2 rebounds per game. But he had a quiet night last time these two met up with just 8 points. Carter Zielinski, can't forget about him, 8.3 points per game. He's coming off of a 20-point performance against Cheyenne his last time out. Carson Beal averages 5 points per game, along with Manuel Macia, who averages 6.6. Levi Renner averages 5 points per game. And can't forget about Easton Fink, 6.6 points per game, and Jonah Coleman with 6.2. It's certainly the Mason Jackson show for the most part, but then it's a lot of different scoring figures for the Plainsmen that makes them so deadly on the offensive side of the basketball. The Plainsmen this season have scored 40 or more points in 19 games this season, and they've scored 45 or more points in 5 of their last 6 games. But on the defensive side of things, though, been a little bit tougher, as they have allowed 45 or more points in 5 of the last 6 games. So they're scoring a lot, but giving up a lot, and that could be a recipe for disaster if you ask some people, as well as we make our way into the postseason. So it's 9-12 Oakley, coached by Aaron Dardis, taking on the Hoxie Indians, who come in tonight with a record of 13-7. The Indians are coming in winners of their last 2 straight after a little bit of a rough stretch in the middle of February, where they lost on the road to Trigo and then at home to Plainville, but responded very well, taking down the Railers of Ellis 63-60 on the road, and then winning in a thrilling fashion to end out the regular season against Phillipsburg 72-68. The Indians would be down after the first quarter by 2, but lead at halftime 34-27, and then lead by 11 going into the fourth quarter 52-41. But would be outscored 24-13 in the fourth for a 65-65 score after 4 quarters. But Hoxie would outscore Phillipsburg 7-3 in the overtime period to win 72-68. The Indians this season are being led by Noah Dowell with 14.3 points per game, and you can't forget to mention Braxton Monk, 14.4 points per game as well on the season. The Indians, besides those two, also have a cast of characters behind them, with Aaron Keith at 8.3 points per game, as well as Charlie Foote with 6 points per game, and Trent Finner with 5 points per game. The last time these two met up was in the regular season. They've only met up once this year. Didn't see each other in the MCL tournament, and it was Hoxie getting the win over Oakley 57-55 in overtime. But again, Hoxie would have a big third-quarter lead, 37-29, be outscored 11-3 in the fourth. And then at the end of regulation, it was 40-40. Then after the first overtime, 46-46. But Hoxie would edge him out 11-9 in overtime number 2 for a 57-55 win. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we sit down and we talk with head coach of the Indians, Jake Moss. It's sub-state basketball on the 2A side of things here on 101.1 KFNF between Hoxie and Oakley. And it's right here on KFNF.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Say no to bad roofs. Say yes to AquaShield Roofing. With over 17 years of providing A-plus services. Roofs, siding, gutters, windows, doors, and spray foam insulation. Plus, AquaShield Roofing offers a workmanship warranty. For your free estimate, give them a call at 785-475-2533. AquaShieldRoofing.com.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Major Oil and Hoxie will deliver bulk fuel right to your door or farm. Farm diesel, highway diesel, gas or propane. Also oils from quarts to totes up to 275 gallon. Major Oil has been servicing Northwest Kansas for over 40 years. Give them a call today at 785-675-3903. That's 785-675-3903. Or stop by Major Oil in downtown Hoxie. You'll be glad you did.
Time to sit down and get the thoughts from the head coach on today's Best Country, 101.1 KFNF.
We continue our pregame show here on today's Best Country 101.1 KFNF, getting you ready for Hoxie Indian boys basketball tonight in the sub-state quarterfinals. We're joined alongside with head coach of the Indians, Jake Moss. And boy, coach, can you believe it? The season is already, regular season is ready to come to a close. Now you're playing in the sub-state quarterfinals. I'm sure it just seems like yesterday you were gearing up for the league tournament. Even before that, week 1 of the regular season, it's kind of crazy how fast it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, you always say basketball is a long season, but that was a really fast, 4.5, 5 months. It doesn't seem like I should be here already. Really, it just kind of seems like we're just getting into the swing of things. We had a couple-week late start due to football. Then we had Christmas break, and then we played 2 games, and then we had 10 days off. So it seems like we've just been stop, start, and then, now as we get into postseason, it just feels like we're finally getting into a groove, and hopefully we're playing our best basketball.
And you mentioned that, starting the postseason tournament off here, but let's flip it back to your last time out there. Took down a very good Phillipsburg team to end the season on a very good note, beat the Panthers 72-68. I guess kind of what were your thoughts after that win?
Well, it was kind of a game of runs. I mean, we got down 8 to start the game, and then we went on a 30-7 run and took the lead back, and then at one point we were actually up by 20, and then, gave all of that back, and they hit a 3 at the buzzer to go to overtime. So kind of a lot of big swings, but that's really how our season has been. We've had some really high highs and some low lows, and so we just need to find a happy medium here going forward.
And have to be kind of happy with the way you guys were able to finish the season. Obviously would have liked to hold on to that 20-point lead against Phillipsburg and kind of get an easy win there. But after a couple of tough losses there to Trigo and Plainfield to respond with a couple of close wins over some tough teams like Ellis and Phillipsburg, do you like where the team is headed here into the postseason?
I do. Our league has had the most parity I've ever seen in our league. I mean, there's really nobody that's going to get blown out, and there's nobody that's going to blow you out, so to speak. So that, I think, has prepared us more than anything. It just goes to show that you have to bring it every night because anybody can bring anybody down. We lost Braxton Monk yesterday in practice. It sounds like he's probably done for the year. So that's kind of a little chink in our armor, but, it's next man up, and we've had several guys who stepped up throughout the season, and hopefully, we'll continue to perform in the postseason.
And I know we've talked about it a little bit before, and I'm sure it's kind of nice for you to kind of be blessed with this great senior class that you've had, and a lot of guys on your senior class on your team as well, and that helps you out a lot, especially like you mentioned in the tough MCL the way it was this year. How do you think that's really helped you guys kind of throughout the season having that many seniors on the team?
Yeah, we only play seniors, so our rotation is all old guys. So it's guys that have been in the program for 4 years. They have experience at the varsity level coming into this year. And so I think that's why you kind of seen, the overtime game versus Phillipsburg, the double overtime game versus Oakley. A lot of these close games have gone our way because of our seniors and their, ability to win games down the stretch.
And, kind of like you mentioned, losing Braxton Monk there in practice. But, you mentioned it too. You've had a lot of guys step up for you in other ways. It seems like every night you guys kind of have a different scorer. I know you kind of rely on a few to put the ball in the hoop for you, but you guys have a different scorer every night. And as a coach, that's what you got to love, right?
Yeah, Noah Dowell is our leading scorer, and Braxton's right there with him. Trent Finner is one that's really came along lately. It just seems like every week he's posting a career high, and he's kind of been consistently in double figures for us. And he's really been one of our better, post defenders as well. And the middle of the year, you probably wouldn't have said that. And so he's come along really strong. Of course, Charlie Foot's also in the inside. Aaron Keith has gotten hot, 4 or 5 games this year. So it really just kind of keeps the defense guessing, and they really can't key on one player.
And you mentioned Noah there kind of being one of your main scorers. I guess as a senior, it's always nice to see him go out and perform the way he does. And like you mentioned, kind of has been able to step up for you in big games as well, and is always seeming to be able to put the ball in the hoop, right?
Yeah, Noah is, he's kind of a unique player. He's not obviously the biggest guy on the floor. He's not the fastest guy on the floor, but he's very smart, and he always knows where to be in the right spot. He's a very heady player, and I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of our opponents.
And I know kind of one of the things you guys like to do is push the pace, and it kind of starts with your guards doing that. I know the big guys have a big role in that as well, but your guard play this year has been really top notch to be able to do that and push the pace, and it's really helped you guys out, a lot this season. I don't think there's too many games you guys have scored under 40 points, which if you're doing that, especially in high school, that means you're winning a lot of games, and have to be happy with the way the guards have been able to handle that, kind of maybe new style of offense, right?
Yeah, we did put in a new system this year. Obviously, it's easier if you can just beat everybody down the floor and get a layup, and I think that was a big part of our run for Phillipsburg the other night. Our bigs run the floor well, but we also have to have the guards pushing the ball up the floor and able to see them too. So, early in the season, we had a lot of games in the 40s, just because I think we weren't in basketball mode yet. We weren't in basketball shape. We were learning a new system. But now, kind of here towards the end of the year, we've kind of bumped all that up, and we've just scored 72 the other night. We've had a couple games in the 60s, and so hopefully our offense is clicking at the right time.
And now you're moving your way into the sub-state tournament here, where kind of everybody's 0-0. It doesn't matter your record, but obviously would like to be having this one in Hoxie, but it's got to be in Colby. But taking on a tough Oakley team, like you mentioned, that you guys were able to beat in double overtime, and have kind of been a rival there, over the past couple of years. So it's going to be a good game tonight. I guess what do you expect to see out of them, and kind of a game plan maybe to walk away with a W?
Yeah, so like we said, our league's very tough, and Oakley's a part of that. We've seen each other just once. There's several teams in our league we've played more than once, but this will be the second time we've matched up with them. It was, again, we had a 14, point lead on them the first time. Noah Dow fouled out early in the fourth quarter, and they kind of changed up their defense, and that kind of slowed us down a little bit, and they were able to take it into double overtime. It just seems like a game that would never end. But, I know Coach Dardis, I actually played for him in high school. He was my high school coach. So I know they're gonna be ready for us, and we're going to have to play well to beat them.
Well, Coach, thanks for being able to sit down and chat, and good luck tonight.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
February is American Heart Month, and since Decatur County is in America, that means it's Heart Month at Decatur Health in Oberlin. American Heart Month is a national awareness campaign to bring to light the fact that heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S. This is a great time to schedule a visit with your healthcare provider at Decatur Health, get your annual tune-up, and find out more about heart health and how you can take better care of yourself. It's a win-win all around. Peace of mind for you and your family. Call Decatur Health at 475-2015 or go online at decaturhealth.org.
The First State Bank of Hoxie is ready, willing, and able to serve all your banking needs. Whether it's a checking or savings account, CDs, personal or farm loans, First State Bank of Hoxie can be your bank. They are large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. And First State Bank of Hoxie is a proud supporter of the Hoxie Indians. Go fight, win with First State Bank of Hoxie. Member FDIC.
Isn't it a great feeling of assurance when you have 100% insurance? This feeling can be yours on all your insurance. Whether it's business, rental, car, home, farm, health, or life insurance, the friendly folks at Hoxie State Insurance are your independent agents, so they can give you just the precise insurance at the lowest rate possible. Agent Shane, Clara Lou, Garrett, or Dustin will help you attain personal assurance with first-rate insurance. Hoxie State Insurance.
You're listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
Welcome back here from Colby, where we're just about set and ready to go for tonight's matchup between the 6-seeded Hoxie Indians and the 11-seeded Oakley Plainsmen. The winner of this one will meet up either with 3-seeded Plainville or 14-seeded Smith Center. Hoxie and Oakley both hoping Smith Center wins that one, because then they both will get to host the semifinal game. But if not, if Plainville wins that contest over Smith Center, then Hoxie or Oakley will be going on the road coming up next Tuesday. Let's take you through our starting lineups. We'll start with the Oakley Plainsmen under head coach Aaron Dardis. It's 6'4" junior Jonah Coleman, 5'8" senior Levi Renner, 5'8" junior Manuel Mancina, 6'1" junior Carson Beal, and 6'1" senior Mason Jackson. And for the Hoxie Indians under head coach Jake Moss, it's 5'9" senior Noah Dowell, 5'10" senior Aaron Keith, 5'8" senior Trent Finner, 5'7" senior Braden Sheets, and 5'10" senior Charlie Foote. And as you heard, Braxton Monk probably out tonight. I think he is over there on the bench here tonight for the Hoxie Indians, so maybe available as needed. But Coach Moss going with a little bit of a different starting lineup because of that here tonight. Once again for the Indians, Dowell, Keith, Fenner, Sheets, and Foote. The Indians last year losing in the first round of the sub-state tournament 60-53 on the road at Hayes TMP, while Oakley lost in the first round to Smith Center. Oakley wins the tap, quickly trying to give it off into the middle of the floor there to Coleman, but it'll be stolen away, and here comes Hoxie with the basketball. At the top of the key is Dowell, spinning over, takes it over to the left elbow, now pulls it back out, hands it off once again here into the hands of Sheets. Down left lane line, his shot is blocked underneath, picked up by the Plainsmen as they look to push up the far side of the floor, right to left across the timeline. Oakley wearing the purple jerseys with the gold numbers. Hoxie wearing the white jerseys with the red numbers. On the drive is Mancina. Stops at the high post. Dumps it off underneath to Coleman, who pulls up from two above the left. Low block. Missed it. Rebound underneath. Brought down there by Renner. He tries to go up for two, and it's blocked by the Indians. Long push ahead into the right corner into the hands of Sheets. Sheets with the basketball. Crosses over a couple of times. Throws it back up to Keith, who hands it off. Dowell turns the corner. Down right lane line. Fades away on the right low block with a layup. Missed it. Rebound brought down underneath by Jackson. Jackson gets it out here to Beal, and Beal will bring it up across the middle of the floor. Crossing over, drives it down, left lane line, kicks it back out. Mancina with a left wing three, off front iron. Rebound brought down by Beal. Beal at the high post, kicks it back out to Jackson at the top of the key. Gives it back to Beal above the volleyball line. Throws it over to Mancia on the left wing again. Mancia looking to get it inside to Jackson as the ball tipped up in the air from Dow. Jackson catches it with both feet practically on the baseline in the left low baseline. Kicks it back out to Mancia, who's left at the top of the key. Now looking to circle, drives it down, kicks it back out of the right elbow, dumps it off to Beal, who drives him out of the lane, lays up a floater, missed it, got his own rebound along with him and Charlie Foote battling it out underneath. And we got a jump ball that'll be called on the Plainsmen. or jump ball on the floor, I should say. And so it'll go back to the Indians here. Plains been bringing on a little man-to-man pressure as Keith will give it back here to Sheets, and Sheets will bring it across the timeline. 6:22 to go, first quarter of play, no score, first round of the 2-8 sub-state tournament. On the drive is Sheets, wiggles his way between two defenders, goes up with a scoop shot, and he'll be fouled, and will head to the free throw line to shoot a deuce. 6:16 left in the first quarter of play, and Braden Sheets is at the free throw line here to shoot a pair with no score in the first quarter. Sheets' first free throw on the way, and it is up and in. Braden Sheets with a 1 point, averages 3.7 per game, 46% free throw shooter, had 5 against Oakley the last time they met up, 7 against Phillipsburg last time out. Barely grazes the rim with a second free throw, which just falls down off the bottom of the iron. Jackson picks it up in the middle of the floor. Across the top line comes Beal, using a screen from Jackson, throws it over to Renner on the left wing. Renner crossing over, gives it back out to Beal. Beal above the three-point arc, now gives it back to Renner, driving left lane, now kicks it back out here to Mancia, over to Jackson, pump fakes the three on the left wing, gets it inside to Coleman. Coleman looking to spin back over the right shoulder, loses the ball after it was tipped out by Dowell. They'll throw it back out to Jackson, who catches it along the near sideline. Jackson hands it back off to Mancia on the left wing. Mancia off the screen, had a double team, forces it back inside to Jackson. Left low block, goes up for two, missed it. Rebound underneath, brought down there by Foot, and we got a foul. No, a jump ball that'll be called, and so it'll stay with the Plainsmen underneath their own hoop. Foot going after the rebound. Jackson turned over with a drop step over the right shoulder and threw it high off the backboard. He gets it right away on the out-of-bounds play. Count the bucket and one. Mason Jackson just rim running down the left lane line, and they hit him right inside, and he puts it up for two and gives the Oakley Plainsmen a 2-1 lead here with 5:33 to go in the first quarter of play. And the first one up and one up for Jackson is up and in. He's got 3 points, 1 of 1 from the charity stripe. Up the near side of the floor here, into the middle of the floor. Now Hoxie with the ball. Sheets driving it down, right lane line, kicks it back out to Dowell at the top of the key. Dowell resetting thing, throws it over to Keith on the left wing, gives it back to Dowell to the right wing for Sheets, back to Dowell, top of the key over to Keith. Keith, one step inside the lane, skips it back over to Sheets to Dowell, top of the key here inside to Finner. Back out to Keith, left wing three, no. Rebound underneath, brought down by the Plainsmen. Jackson gets it out to Beal. Beal looking to push up the far side of the floor, right to left across the timeline, has it above the volleyball line, hands it off here to Renner. Renner turns the corner, drives, right lane line, pulls up from 10 feet, no. Rebound, Keith. Keith now looking to push up the far side, left to right across the timeline. A little couple of dribbles, gets it to Sheets, back to Keith, over to Dowell on the left wing. Dowell lobs into the short corner here for Foot, kicks it back out. Sheets for three, no. Rebound to the backside, brought down by the Plainsmen. And here comes Beal up the far side again, right to left. Beal throws it to Mancia in the right corner, ball above his head, pump fakes inside, now dribbles it up to right of the top of the key. College range three for Mancina, no, and a foul will come in as Coleman reaches over the top of Foot going after the rebound, and that'll be a foul here called on the Plainsmen. 3-1 lead for Oakley early going, 4:24 left. The Indians kind of being a little bit stagnant on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm sure we'll try to change that here as we keep going. Across the timeline with the basketball, here is Sheets. Sheets with a right-handed dribble. Guarded in between the rings, throws it into the high post here for Dowell, handed back off to Sheets, throws it out to Keith on the right wing, back to Dowell, right at the top of the circle. Here's he's crossing over a couple of times, wants a screen from Foot, gets it now, hesitates, drives it to the left elbow, pulls it back out, three ball on the way from Finner with a high arcing shot, it's missed offside iron. Beal taps it to himself with a rebound, long push ahead as he was looking to the corner for Zielinski, who got it. Zielinski running all the way inside the arc, kicks it back out, right wing three, Renner, no. Rebound by Dowell, Dowell pushing it up the far side of the floor, weaving his way between purple jerseys, dribbles it down right lane line, stops, pulls up for two. It was missed as it was partially blocked by Peyton Mackley there on the right low block, and it's still a 3-1 lead here for Oakley. 3:39 left in the first quarter. Hand off to Zielinski. Zielinski looking to turn the corner, gets it back here. Zielinski along the half-court line, pulls it back down, awaits a screen, comes off of it from Jackson, down left lane line over to the rack. He'll draw a foul here on the Indians. With 3:28 left in the first quarter of play, 3-1. Oakley in front by two. First round of the 2A sub-state tournament. Winner to take on either Plainville or Smith Center coming up next Tuesday. Hoxie with a wave of Oakley with a wave of subs. Hoxie just subbing in one. with the basketball. Mancina underneath his own hoop, lobs it up here to Jackson. Jackson with a fadeaway jumper from 15 feet. No, and another offensive foul will come in on the Plainsmen, as this time it is Mackley going over the back, working against Keith, who's got two of those underneath. And Coach Moss said that right at the beginning. Box out. Here after the Indians gave up a couple of offensive rebounds, box out, and you guys will be able to get some over-the-back calls. Sheets guarded heavily by Mancia, left wing extended, throws it into the left corner here for Beckman. Beckman, couple of dribbles, back to Dowell, top of the key to Keith, now to the right corner for Foote. Foote gives it back to Keith to the top of the key. Sheets on the drive, down left lane line, lost the ball, middle of the lane, kicks it out. Keith for three. You betcha! Aaron Keith with a big shot right there. His first 3 points of the game. And that'll make it 4-3 with 3:11 to go in the first quarter of play. And they're going to take it down to 2:59, as I don't think the clock started after the free throws. But it will be 4-3 here. Hoxie out in front of the Plainsmen. 2:55 left in the first quarter of play. Beal brings it across the timeline over to Mancina, driving it down, right lane line. Over to the rack, he'll be fouled on the right low block. Mancina caught the ball on the right wing. His defender blew past him. He dribbled it all the way down, was looking to pass, but then finally decided to shoot to the right low block and was fouled there by Aaron Keith. That'll be his first foul. Team foul number 3 for the Indians of the quarter. First one up for Mancina is in and out. Manuel Mancina, 6.6 points per game. Doesn't have one tonight. 2:49 left, first quarter, 4-3. Indians in front by 1. Mancina looking to tie it up, and he will with the free throw. Mancina with his first point of the game ties us up at 4 apiece here with 2:48 left in the first quarter. Up the far side of the floor, Dowell breaking the press with a dribble, takes it all the way to the rack. Euro steps around Polinsky, and he'll be fouled and head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Excuse me, that was Mackley underneath there on the right low block that he had to go, on the left low block that he had to go around. Euroed around him and put it up for 2. The foul against Mackley is his second. Team foul number 4. First one on the way for Dowell is off the mark. Dowell, uncharacteristically, with no points so far in this first quarter. 0 for 1 to the charity stripe. 67% free throw shooter. Stands back there. Braxton Monk has checked back into the game. Second one of the way for Dowell. It's up and in. He's got 1 point. And to make it 5-4, Hoxie with a 1-point lead. 2:40 left in the first quarter of play. Up the far side of the floor, Beal brings it across the timeline. Zielinski pulls the trigger from college range. Missed it. Rebound brought down by Jackson. Jackson underneath. Lost the ball. Picked up here by the Indians. Hobbling his way down the floor is Monk. Gets it out to Dowell. Dowell dribbles it down inside the left arc. Pulls it back out to the left wing. Now has it at the top of the key. Dowell crossing over a couple of times. Will reset the offense. Throws it into the high post. No, it'll be taken away by Mancina. So first unofficial turnover for the Indians right there. Crossing the timeline, Mancina still with the ball. Hands it off here to Beal. Beal at the top of the key using the screen. Hands it off. Zielinski looking to reject and drive it down right baseline. It'll be knocked out of bounds by Dowell. Stay with the Plainsmen on their side of the floor in front of the Hoxie bench with 1:59 left in the first quarter of play. Hoxie with a slim 1-point lead at 5-4. Zielinski with the ball. Right wing extended. Now takes it above the volleyball line. Puts his head down. Dribbles it to the right corner. Mancina with it there. Using a screen from Jackson. Steps back just to the left of the top of the key. Gets it to Jackson at the high post. Facing up. Jackson going to work. Spins off a defender. Lays it up for 2 from 15. No. Beal with the offensive rebound in the middle of the lane. Hands grabbing everywhere. And we got a foul that'll be called on the Indians. So 1:41 left in the first quarter. Offensive rebounds. But the name of the game for the Plainsmen. Haven't converted on him, though, as that foul will go against Max Beckman, his first. Team foul number 4 for the Indians. Mancina with the ball underneath his own hoop. Feeds it inside. Up for 2. Right away was Coleman. Missed it. Ball caroms around a couple of times. Dowell ends up with it in the middle of the lane. Now he dribbles it across the timeline. Up the middle of the floor. Throws it over to Monk. Left wing 3. You betcha! Braxton Monk dials it up from downtown to give the Indians a 4-point lead at 8-4. Quickly inside, Zielinski with a drive right baseline, laid it up. Nothing hit rim there. Rebound, Monk throws it up to Dowell. Long pass ahead, wide open, streaking down the floor there was Sheets. He missed the layup with the right hand from the left low block. Rebound, Beal. Beal up the far side to Zielinski. Pull up 3 again. No. Rebound underneath, brought down by Monk. Monk will get it out here to Dowell. Dowell looking to push, slows it up a little bit. Now hesitates, goes behind the back of the top of the key. Under a minute to play, 50 seconds to go. Into Keith at the left elbow, looking for Sheets on the backdoor cut on the backside. It'll go off the hands of Sheets, out of bounds, and back to the Plainsmen with 47.4 seconds to go. 8-4. Hoxie in front by 4. Couple of big threes in the quarter from Keith and Monk have led him to get to that lead. Crossing the timeline with the ball is Beal. Throws it to Zielinski in the right wing. Dumps it off to Coleman inside right low block. Back out. Jackson from 15 misses everything. Uncharacteristic miss there. Now long pass ahead, looking for Beckman. Down just above the left low block there was Dowell. But it'll go off the hands of Beckman, out of bounds, and back to the Plainsmen. So Plainsmen back with a basketball here. 8-4, 22 seconds left in the first quarter of play. Hoxie with a 4-point lead. Beal along half-court line, crossing over. Dribbles it all the way to the top of the key. Dumps it off to Zielinski on the left wing. Using a screen here with 12 seconds to go. Zielinski turns the corner, down right lane line, and he'll dribble it off of his hand, out of bounds. And it'll go back here to the Indians with 9.6 seconds to go. Third turnover from the Plainsmen. Dowell with the basketball, down to 8, 7, 6 as he gets a screen, brings it across the timeline, down to 4, 3. Dowell pulls up from 3 at the buzzer, no, and that's where the quarter will end. And yes, that is where the quarter will end. So 1 quarter in the book here from Colby. It is Hoxie 8, Oakley 4. This is Hoxie Indian basketball on 101.1 KFNF.
Next Tech is proud to now offer social media monitoring from Bark, designed by parents for parents. Bark is a service that scans text messages, over 30 social media apps, and other online activity, keeping you informed and your child protected. With Bark from Next Tech, parents get alerts for potential dangers easily and effortlessly. Interested in learning more? Visit next-tech.com/bark or call 877-625-7872.
At Nutrient Ag Solutions, they believe in the 4 R's. 1, the right kinds of fertilizer and chemical to apply. 2, the right time to apply fertilizer and chemicals. 3, the right amount of fertilizer and chemical to use. And 4, the right place to apply fertilizer and chemical. Stop by Nutrient Ag Solutions and sharpen up your 4 R's before planting season arrives. They will be glad to work the 4 R's into your farming program. That's Nutrient Ag Solutions, just west of Hoxie, where they sell fertilizer, buy, specialize, and service.
Welcome back here from Colby, where the Indians lead 8-4 after 1 quarter, first round of the 2A Sub-State Tournament. Keith on the drive, finds Dowell cutting back door, down the right baseline, but he misses the layup. Beal coming out with the outlet pass, dribbles it up the near side of the floor, right to left across the timeline, hands it off to Mancina. Mancina gives it back off to Renner, back to Mancia, pump fakes the left corner 3, and then dribbles it off of his hand and out of bounds, and back to Hoxie it goes. That's the 4th turnover for the Plainsmen of the contest. 7:33 to go here in the second quarter of play. 8-4. Keith brings the ball across the timeline. Throws over to Beckman. Now to Dowell on the right wing. Dowell looking at a couple of screens and a couple of curls. Had no one open. Now he throws it back to Keith. Keith one dribble. Going up against a double team. Has his shot blocked. Ball rolling on the floor though. Dowell is able to pick it up as the Plainsmen couldn't contain the basketball. Left wing Sheets throws it back to Dowell into the high post here for Keith. Kicks it back out to Dowell. Dowell looking to drive. Spins off a defender on the right low block and will put it up and in for 2. Noah Dowell with 3 points and gives a 10-4 lead to the Indians as they lead by 6. 6:53 left in the first half. Mancina with a dribble handoff to Renner. Crosses over, working against Dowell. Back to Mancina. Mancina pull up, college range 3. Can't dial it up. Rebound at the high post. Tap back out of the hands of Beal. Beal back to Mancina. Mancina with the ball, looking to cross over. Gets a screen here from Jackson. Trying to give it back to Jackson off his hands. Coleman ends up with it. Back out to Beal. Beal at the high post. Steps through, back out. Jackson left wing 3. Air ball. And Dowell will let it go out of bounds here with 6:27 to go in the first half of play. 10-4. It has been all Indians here from the start. Oakley with a slight lead at the beginning at 3-1, but since then, it has been a 8-1 run by the Indians. Cross the timeline, Sheets gets the screen from Foot, stops on the right elbow, now hesitates, drives down right lane line, missed it, tapped out by Foot, but Renner was there to pick it up along the left baseline. Gets it out here to Beal, who brings it across the timeline, far side, right to left. Beal crossing over, getting a screen from Jackson, hesitates at the top of the key, over to Mancia. Mancia now at the top of the key, trying to dump it off inside, and will throw it away. Foot came up with a steal. Dowell now losing the ball. Somehow right there was Beckman to Keith in the left corner. Back to Dowell, and everything will reset. Turnover number 5 for the Plainsmen. Top of the key for Beck, over to Dowell on the right wing. Gets it in along the baseline there to Foot, who will put it up and in for 2 from 5 feet. He's oh so good at those little mid-range jumpers, and the Indians have bloomed it out to an 8-point lead at 12-4 with 5:38 left in the first half. Time out of the floor. We'll take one with them. It's Hoxie Indian basketball here on 101.1 KFNF.
There is a difference between going to the bank and going to the bank. When you go to the bank, it's just,
Hello, welcome to the bank. How can we bore you?
But when you go to the bank,
Hi, welcome to the bank. How can we help you?
and that help is offered to you in 13 northern Kansas locations to help your financial goals become a reality. From services and loans to state-of-the-art financial products, come to where the difference is better. The Bank, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
You're listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
5:38 left in the second quarter, 12-4. Hoxie has bloomed out an 8-point lead. They were down 3-1 to start the game, and since then, the Indians have went on an 11-1 run themselves to lead 12-4. Beal with the basketball, left wing, throws it over to Renner. Renner with it in the left wing, drives it down inside the arc, pulls it back out, hands it off to Mancia, back to the basket, now faces up, gets it inside to Coleman, left low block, spins over the left shoulder, puts it up for 2, missed it, rebound, tapped around underneath. Beckman finally controls it just inside the left low block. Dowell shoots it up the floor, over to Keith on the right wing, back to Dowell above the volleyball line, inside of the high post for Foot, back to Dowell on the right wing. Dowell on the drive, hesitates inside the arc, gives it back to Keith at the top of the key. Over to the left wing for Sheets, ball above the head, back to the top of the key for Foot to the right wing. Here inside for Keith, gets it inside to Beckman, who turns over the left shoulder, laid it up high, almost got it to go. Back iron, side iron, front iron, side iron, and it pops out. 4:48 left in the 4:48 left in the second quarter. 12-4. Hoxie with an 8-point lead. Mancia inside to Jackson above that left low block. Spins over the right shoulder, throws it back out to Mancia. Mancia with the basketball, left wing here for Beal. Beal inside to Jackson. Jackson triple teamed, throws it back out. Beal with a left wing 3. No, side iron, rebound brought down by Foot underneath. A foul will be called on Coleman, and it'll go back to the Indians here with 4:29 left in the first half and an 8-point lead. So the Indians lead by 8, trying to hold on to it here. That's the second foul on Jonah Coleman here in the first half. Coleman, 6'4", so that'd be huge to get him off the floor. Up the middle of the floor, across the timeline, Dowell with the basketball, throws it into the high post for Foot. Foot throws it back over to the other high post here on the right elbow for Beckman, pulls up for 2, missed it from 18. It was blocked, and then going after the loose ball and the blocked shot, he fouls and bangs his way into Renner, and so it'll go back to Oakley with 4:15 left here in the second quarter of play. So the foul on Beckman is his first officially. I think that's actually his second. 4:14 left in the first half. Bringing it up across the timeline. Here is Beal. Throws it over to Jackson. Left wing for Renner. Renner gives it back to Zielinski. Top of the key 3 from NBA range. No. Rebound brought down by Keith underneath. Keith looking to push. Does all the way up the far side of the floor, left to right. Hands it off here to Sheets. Back to Keith. Keith kicks it back out here to Finner. Over to the right wing for Sheets. Dumps it off to Foot underneath from 5 feet again. And it'll hit along the right baseline. And it's a smooth shot from Charlie Foot to give the Indians a 10-point lead at 14-4. Beal hands it off to Renner. Renner with the ball, top of the key. Forces it inside here for Mackley. Mackley stepping through, in trouble along the baseline. Gets it out to Jackson. Jackson turning the corner, putting his head down. And he extended the arm out a little too hard. And ends up getting a charge. And back to Hoxie it goes. 14-4. Hoxie controlling all of the momentum. Oakley has probably went a long time, at least from the 4-minute mark of the first quarter until now, without scoring. Crossing the timeline with the basketball here is Sheets. Dribbles it to the right elbow. Back out to Dowell between the rings with the basketball. Dowell holding it on his left hip. Throws over to Keith on the left wing. Back to the top of the key for Foot. Over to Dowell in the right wing. Dow gives it back to Sheets, top of the key three, banks it offside iron, and the rebound will be brought down by Jackson, who gets it out to Beal. Beal with a steady push up the near side, right to left. Beal hands it off to Zielinski. Zielinski coming off of a screen, now puts his head down, hands it off to Renner. Renner using a screen from Jackson, down left lane line of the rack, high off the glass, missed it. Rebound underneath for Mackley. He'll go up for two and be fouled, and out of the free throw line to shoot two. So the Plainsmen with 6'1" Jackson, 6'4" Coleman, and 6'5" Mackley have been dominating the boards, but Hoxie still with a 10-point lead at 14-4. And Mackley's first free throw is on the way. It'll drop home. Mackley, 1 of 1 from the charity stripe now, averages 2.5 per game. 14-5. Second one on the way for Mackley. Drops them both home. He's got 2 points, makes it 14-6 here with 2:47 left in the first half of play. Dowell up the middle of the floor, across the timeline, left-handed dribble, throws it over to Sheets on the left wing, to the top of the key for Finner. Finner pump fakes, gives it back to Sheets. Sheets guarded by Zielinski to Keith at the top of the key. Over to the right wing again for Finner, gets it inside to Dowell. Dowell below the right low block on the baseline, wraps it back out to Keith in the right corner, over to Sheets. Sheets with the basketball between the rings, back to Keith in the left wing on the far side, inside to Dowell on the left low block, back to the top of the key, Finner, over to Sheets on the right wing, top of the key for Dowell. Dowell gives it back over to the left wing here, pulling up for three. Finner, high arcing shot, and he gets it to go. Trent Finner with a huge three and gives the Indians an 11-point lead at 17-6. Their largest lead of the night. Crossing the timeline, Beal hands it off here to the hands of Renner, crosses over, back out to Beal. Beal right wing extended, throws over to Zielinski, left at the top of the circle, who hands it back off to Beal above the volleyball line. Now a handoff to Renner on the left wing on the near side. Back to the top of the key, handoff to Zielinski. Zielinski inside the arc, pulls up from 5 feet and knocks it down on the run. Big shot right there by Carter Zielinski, his first 2 points of the game, which is very rare. Zielinski averaging 8.3, very great shooter, but his first 2 points there make it 17-8. Over the right wing for Sheets, top of the key for Finner, left wing now for Dowell, back to the top of the key for Foote. Foote throws it over to the right wing for Finner. Finner back to Keith at the top of the key. Keith on the drive, pulls it back out, throws it over to Foote from 18 feet just inside the arc, missed it. Rebound brought down offensively on the backside by Sheets along the right baseline, and back to Keith to reset things. Now Dowell has it on the left wing in front of the Oakley bench. Coach Stardust looking at him. Now he crosses over, drives it down, left lane line, stops to the left low block, stolen away by Jackson. Jackson losing it in the middle of the floor, and it'll still be picked up by Oakley. Turnover number 4 for the Indians. On the drive, wide open, Mackley underneath, laid it up, but it's too soft. He laid it up with a right hand on the left low block and missed it. Keith with a rebound. He has it now right at the top of the circle. 45 seconds left in the first half. Looking to drive here, and a foul on a moving screen as Sheets was looking to drive it to the right elbow. So Hoxie gives it back to Oakley here with 44 seconds left in the first half. 17-8. Hoxie without a double-digit scoring quarter yet. Same for Oakley. Oakley finally getting some buckets down the stretch here. Beal will bring it up the middle of the floor across the timeline, crosses over, throws over to Mancina on the left wing. Mancina now at the top of the key to Zielinski. Long NBA range three, off front iron, rebound Mancina. Then it'll be taken away underneath there by Finner, who gets it out to Monk. Monk hobbling his way up the floor, will bring it across the timeline. Monk now dribbling it all the way down middle of the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball on the way for Finner with a long shot. No, rebound brought down by Jackson. Then he loses it from Keith. It'll be taken away again underneath, ball on the floor. Monk saves it. Keith for 3 with 9 seconds. No. Finner the offensive rebound, blocked by Mackley underneath with 5. Mancia the long throw ahead to Zielinski. Zielinski fouled with 1.4 seconds to go, just below the left low block. That's a tough one right there. 1.4 seconds to go. Coast to coast Mancia with a great pass from three-quarter court. And that foul goes against Aaron Keith. Keith with his second. First one on the way here for Zielinski is up and in. So Hoxie and Oakley exchanged 2 turnovers apiece on that possession, and finally Oakley ends up with the points. Zielinski Now with 4, 2 of 2 from the charity stripe, 1 second left. Gets it in. Monk from three-quarter court. No, put a good arc on it on the 1 foot, but that's where the half comes to a close. Oakley with a big bucket down the stretch on a couple of free throws, but got a big foul with 1 second to go to head of the charity stripe. They hit both of them. Cut the lead to 7 as we head into the locker rooms. First half in the books here from Colby. In the first round of the 2A Sub-State Tournament, it is Hoxie 17, Oakley 10 on 101.1 KFNF.
Have you heard these 3 rules of nature? Rule number 1, weather always wins. Rule number 2, sometimes weather plays rough. Drought, freeze, flood, hail, lightning, high winds, they can all ruin your crop and your livelihood. And rule number 3, multi-peril and crop hail insurance from Watkins Insurance in Hoxie. Visit Dan and Steve at Watkins Insurance soon. They can show you a multi-peril crop insurance plan that puts you and nature on a level playing field. That's right, individual protection plans from Watkins, such as RP and YP. Watkins Insurance, an equal opportunity provider. Woofter Pump and Well Incorporated of Hoxie is your state licensed Kansas Water Well Association member. They can help you with all your water needs. They service and drill stock wells, domestic wells, environmental wells, and irrigation wells. Let them handle all your water maintenance problems, from drilling to water pump installation. They will do it all. Give Woofter Pump and Well a call today, 785-675-3991, or stop in and visit them on Highway 24 in Hoxie.
Where hometown charm meets fresh market dreams. Ray's Grocery in downtown Oberlin is a feast for the senses. Hand-picked produce, sizzling steaks, and hearty roasts await your dinner table. Quality soars in every aisle. Shopping at Ray's is a breeze, leaving the heavy lifting to them as they escort your groceries right to your car. Experience the difference at Ray's Grocery. Fresh, friendly, and always local. Ray's Grocery in downtown Oberlin. When you think of Decatur Co-op, do you think about grain? Feed your livestock, horses or pets, propane, supplies? How about tires? Yes, Decatur Co-op in Oberlin has a tire shop that specializes in tire repair, along with oil changes, exhaust, front-end alignment, and major mechanical work. Bet you didn't know all that. Well, now you know. And the next time you need any of those services, think of Decatur Co-op at the railroad tracks in Oberlin. Book your appointment. Call 785-475-2234.
United Northwest Federal Credit Union is spreading the love this season with low rates. Now through the end of March, get rates as low as 5% APR on a 2015 or newer vehicle loan. Whether you are buying a new vehicle or refinancing from another lender, now is the perfect time to treat yourself. Apply now and let UNWFCU help you drive home this great deal. Special terms and conditions apply. Rates are subject to increase. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
High school athletics on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
Welcome back here from Colby. 1 half in the books. So the 2A Sub-State Tournament here between the Hoxie Indians and the Oakley Plainsmen in our 6-11 game. Indians being the 6 seed, Plainsmen being the 11 seed. Hoxie with a 17-10 lead as they led after one 8-4 and outscore Oakley 9-6 in the second. But Oakley, their 6 points coming in the final 4 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes of that first half, after they went from probably the 4-minute mark of the first quarter to about the 3-minute mark of the second quarter without scoring and putting up a lot of shots, but no, the ball did not go through the hoop and hit the nylon at all over that time, but it finally kind of cracks in there over the last few minutes. But a 17-10 lead still here for the Indians as they make their way into the locker rooms. Let's take you through our first half numbers. We'll start with Oakley. It's Peyton Mackley with 2 points, 1 point from Manuel Mancina, 4 points from Carter Zielinski, and 3 from Mason Jackson. The thing that has kept Oakley in the game so far, free throws, 5 of 5 from the charity stripe, and that was the thing that broke the scoring streak. Peyton Mackley stepped up, hit a couple of big free throws, and then it was 2 big free throws with 1.4 seconds on the clock from Carter Zielinski. Other than that, it's kind of been slim pickings for the Plainsmen shooting the basketball, as they have just 2 made normal shots, none from 3, and just 2 inside the arc for 2-point shots here tonight. for Oakley team-wise. 5 of 5 from the charity stripe, like I mentioned, 7 turnovers in the first half. For the Hoxie Indians, it's 3 points from Noah Dowell, 3 from Aaron Keith, 3 from Trent Finner, 3 from Braxton Monk, 1 from Braden Sheets, and 4 from Charlie Foote. The Indians go 2 of 4 from the charity stripe and commit 6 turnovers. So the Indians in that first half, the thing that hurt them the most, I would say, is offensive rebounding. If they can fix that going into the second half, I think they'd be able to dominate, because even with giving up a lot of the offensive rebounds. I know Oakley missing some shots, but they were still able to hold them off and maintain their lead here, 17-10 at the break, but offensive rebounding. And then on the offensive side, kind of like Coach Moss said, what happened against Phillipsburg was that Oakley kind of got, Hoxie kind of got stagnant on offense. I feel like they haven't been. They've been running through their offensive lot, but Oakley has just been doing a good job packing the zone, making it tough to drive for the Indians. It's led to a lot of kick-out threes, which they've hit, but as you go your way into the second half, you got to hope that continues to happen as well. But here at the break, main player to look out for here as we make our way into the second half, Braxton Monk. Braxton Monk playing on a hobbled ankle, and you heard Coach Moss there in the pregame show say he thought Monk was going to be done for the season, and Monk has put together some quality minutes in this first half, coming in there kind of and sparking the Indians with a streak. Didn't score at all, did hit a 3, and a big one at that, but that's what the Indians have done so far. They've hit 3 first-half threes, and it's propelled them to a 17-10 lead. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will have second-half action here on 101.1 KFNF. Hoxie in front over Oakley to a sub-state quarterfinals. 17-10 Hoxie here on 101.1 KFNF.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Say no to bad roofs. Say yes to AquaShield Roofing. With over 17 years of providing A-plus services. Roofs, siding, gutters, windows, doors, and spray foam insulation. Plus, AquaShield Roofing offers a workmanship warranty. For your free estimate, give them a call at 785-475-2533. AquaShieldRoofing.com.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Major Oil and Hoxie will deliver bulk fuel right to your door or farm. Farm diesel, highway diesel, gas or propane. Also oils from quarts to totes up to 275 gallon. Major Oil has been servicing Northwest Kansas for over 40 years. Give them a call today at 785-675-3903. That's 785-675-3903. Or stop by Major Oil in downtown Hoxie. You'll be glad you did.
February is American Heart Month, and since Decatur County is in America, that means it's Heart Month at Decatur Health in Oberlin. American Heart Month is a national awareness campaign to bring to light the fact that heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S. This is a great time to schedule a visit with your healthcare provider at Decatur Health, get your annual tune-up, and find out more about heart health and how you can take better care of yourself. It's a win-win all around. Peace of mind for you and your family. Call Decatur Health at 475-2015 or go online at decaturhealth.org.
You're listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
2 quarters, 1 half in the books here from Colby to a sub-state quarterfinals between the Hoxie Indians and the Oakley Plainsmen, and it is Hoxie here at the break, 17-10. Let's take a closer look at the bracket here. Acacia doing things a little bit differently this year. It's not just one sub-state, and then the winner of that sub-state gets to go on to the state tournament. They've actually kind of combined sub-states, and now there's just 4 sub-states across the whole state of Kansas in 2A, and 2 teams from each sub-state get to go to the state tournament, which is this year in Manhattan at Bramlage Coliseum. So there's 2 brackets in the top bracket. The 1, 16, 8, 9, 4, 13, 5, and 12 seeds are all there. And then 2, 15, 7, 10, 3, 14, 6, and 11 are all in sub-state 2. Hoxie made their way into Sub-State 2 with the 6th seed. They're meeting up with 11-seeded Oakley right now. The winner of this one will either meet up with 3-seeded Plainville or 14-seeded Smith Center. Plainville 15-5, Smith Center 7-12 at the time of seeding. But you got to remember, after this one, it is higher seed host until the sub-state final, which will be in Sublet. So Hoxie and Oakley both rooting that Smith Center upsets Plainville there on the road against the Cardinals, because then Hoxie and Oakley will be able to host this game. Obviously, Hoxie will have to play it here at Colby or somewhere along those lines as well. But if Plainville wins, then Hoxie will be traveling to Plainville. At the top of the bracket, Syracuse hosting Hill City in the 2-15 matchup. Syracuse the 2, Hill City the 15 seed. And then Ellenwood, the 7 seed, is meeting up with Trigo, the 10 seed there, and they will battle it out. And the winners of those games will battle it out in the semifinals. But here in our matchup, it is Hoxie, the 6 seed, in front 17-10 over 11-seeded Oakley. Oakley will have the ball to start the second half of action after having a tough shooting first half. 6 points in the second quarter, 4 in the first. Beal with the basketball, right wing, trying to get it into the right corner for Renner, and Keith jumps the pass and will tap it out of bounds along the near side. Oakley in the purple jerseys with the gold numbers, moving left to right in the second half. Hoxie, white jerseys, red numbers, right to left. Hand off here to Mancina, who turns the corner, dumps it off, no look pass to Jackson, who will put it up and in for 2. Manuel Mancina making that pass look easy with the no-looker. There with the basketball, Sheets drives it to the right elbow, stops there, fakes the handoff. Keith now hands it off to Finner. Finner to the right elbow, gives it back here to Sheets to the free throw line, kicks it over to the left corner for Keith, back to Sheets. Sheets, couple of dribbles, takes it inside, over the top, inside the lane, back out to Dow. Dow on the drive, spins over the left shoulder, going up against Beal, forces his way inside, misses the layup, and Beal comes down with a rebound. Beal one-on-one with the Sheets all the way to the rack, lays it up, and in for 2. And Carson Beal gets on the board with his first 2 points of the game, and just like that, a 7-point lead is down to 3. It's 17-14. Sheets off a screen, kicks it out here to Finner. Finner now in the drive, middle of the lane, kicks it back out to Foot. Foot there just inside the arc on the right wing, back out to Finner. Finner down right lane line against Jackson. Stopped there on the right low block, gives it back to Sheets. Sheets goes up for 2. Shot block, kicks back out here into the hands of Finner, who gives it back to Dowell. Dowell pulls up from 15 and hits right at the free throw line off of the screen. Noah Dowell with 5 points. Beal looking to push the pace up the near side. Stops on the right wing. Now drives it, kicks it back out to Jackson. Jackson down just inside the lane on the left low block. Missed it. Rebound tapped around by Coleman, but finally Finner will pick it up and he gets it out to Dowell. Dowell brings it across the timeline. Dowell shoves his way off a defender. Now gives it back to Finner. Finner down right lane line. Kicks it back out here into the hands of Keith. Over to Sheets. Sheets directing signals. Comes off of a screen. Kicks it back out here to Finner. Finner driving right baseline. Looking to go with a reverse layup. Puts it high off the glass. Missed it off back iron. Foot can't come up with a rebound. Jackson does. Gets it out to Beal. Beal crossing over. Brings it up to the left wing here. Hands it off to Mancina. Mancina faces up. No look pass again to Jackson, who's fouled and will head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Mancina, who was was looking right at me as I sit on the other side of the floor, threw that back down into the left low block with a great no-look pass, and Jackson has a chance to cut this lead down again. And the first one is up and in from Mason Jackson. He's got 6 points to make him 2 of 2 from the charity stripe. Couple of subs checking in here for the Indians. Braxton Monk along with Max Beckman are both back into the contest. 19-15. Should be 19-16. Second one on the way. Rolls home. Makes them both 3 for 3 from the charity stripe. 19-17. They got 16 on the scoreboard. Left wing for Monk, driving left baseline, pulls up with a floater, partially blocked underneath there. Kind of lost the ball, but then taking it away is Finner. Finner back to Dowell. Dowell down left lane line, spins back. Finner with a pull-up shot from 15. No, Beckman can't hold on to the rebound. So Finner taking that one away. Beal into the front court. Jackson colliding in to Finner, who will get called with a block, but it was Jackson the one that collided into him. And that'll be the third foul on Trent Finner. And they still got 16 on the board. I swear it's 17. 11, 13, 14, 16. No, it is just 16. 16 points here for the Indians. With the basketball, left wing, now turn to the corner. Zielinski dumps it off underneath the Renner on the left low block, who will put it up and in for 2. Renner with 2 points, and he makes it 19-18 with 5:11 to go in the third quarter of play. Left wing for Dowell, directing signals, wants Monk to move over to the right wing. Now he's looking, will pull up from three. Noah Dowell can't hit. Rebound, Mackley lost it, trying to save it back in bounds, and it'll go out of bounds. Yes, so sorry about that. 19-18. Hoxie still in front by one. They led 17-10 at the break. It's an 8-2 run for Oakley to start the second half. Monk gets it into Dowell, left wing after bobbling it for three. No, off front iron. Beckman with a backside rebound, but then lost it on the way down. And a rebound kicked out to Jackson, who gives it to Zelensky. Zelensky will walk it up across the timeline. Coach Aaron Dardis calling out a signal. Zelensky driving it to the left wing, looking to get it to Renner there. Now he's in trouble, hands it to Jackson. Jackson down left lane, line of the rack, high off the glass and in for two. Mason Jackson with 9. Coach Moss wants a timeout, and Oakley, down 17-10 of the break, has used a 10-3 run to lead it 20-19 with 4:34 to go in the third quarter. This is Hoxie Indian basketball here on 101.1 KFNF.
The First State Bank of Hoxie is ready, willing, and able to serve all your banking needs. Whether it's a checking or savings account, CDs, personal or farm loans, First State Bank of Hoxie can be your bank. They are large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. And First State Bank of Hoxie is a proud supporter of the Hoxie Indians. Go fight, win with First State Bank of Hoxie. Member FDIC.
High school athletics on 101.1 KFNF. Today's best country.
20-19, Oakley has taken the advantage here in the 2A Sub-State quarterfinals. Hoxie in front at the break, 17-10. It's now a 10-2 run to start this second half. Dowell with the ball to Beckman, top of the key, over to Keith. Keith on the drive, looking, backdoor cutting. Noah Dowell high off the glass, and a lay it in for two. It started with the pass from Keith. Dowell finishes at the rim on the right low block. Zelensky one-on-one with Dowell. And Dowell's going to get called for a foul. I don't know about that one. Coach Jake Moss have an argument, as it looked like Zelensky shoved him pretty hard with the left elbow, but they called Dowell with a foul. It's his first, and team foul number 3 for Hoxie in the quarter, none for Oakley. 21-20, Hoxie with a 1-point lead. Zelensky fakes the handoff, back to Jackson, dumps it off underneath to Mackley, who will go up for 2, and Beckman will get called for the foul on the right low block. Mackley with a great seal there on the right low block, just turned and spun with a drop step on the left low block, And actually, they're going to say it was on the floor. The foul against Beckman is his third. Mencina inbounds underneath the zone hoop. Lob pass up to Zelensky. Lost it, but will track it back down along the half-court line. Now dribbles it inside the arc using a screen from Draxon. Down left lane line. Wiggles his way between two defenders. Laid it up for 2. Missed it from the left low block. Rebound brought down, and all the way up the floor is Dowell. Dowell stops above the right low block. Kicks it back out here to Keith. Keith crossing over, using a seal from Finner. Throws it back to Beckman to the top of the key to Dowell, right wing. Dowell fakes the 3, pulls it back out to Finner at the top of the key, over to Monk. Monk using the screen from Finner, now pops a 3 again. Can't knock it down. Rebound brought down by Jackson. Jackson spins off 2 Hoxie defenders, weaving his way up the floor, down left lane line, pulls up from 5 feet. No, rebound Mackley, back up for 2, missed that one, taps it in the air. Monk down on the floor, still going after the rebound. Bodies flying everywhere, and finally a jump ball will be called after Jackson picks up Monk and throws him over the top of his body, and Monk, already hobbled, gets up hobbling a little bit more, and looks like he's still going to be okay, though. 3:17 to go in the third quarter, 21-20, and after all of that, Hoxie will get the basketball back. Jackson, instead of going for the layup, went for the floater and couldn't get it to go. Dowell coming off a screen, no, rejects it, pulls it back out to the left wing, wants it again, now drives it to the left elbow, behind the back from 15, no, rebound, tapped around underneath, out of the hands of 2 Hoxie Indians. Zelensky picks it up, finds Mancina streaking down the floor, he'll lay it up and in for 2. Mancina streaking down the far side of the floor, perfect pass from Zelensky, and it's 22-21 Oakley with 2:47 left in the third. Off the screen, Dowell above the free throw line over the right wing, Keith. Keith pulling it back out, stops on the right wing, fakes the three to Finner. Now over to Monk. Monk driving, left lane line with a floater from 5 feet. Can't get the roll. It's off the front iron. Jackson brings down the rebound. It must be this side of that hoop because Hoxie has had a tough time shooting just like Oakley. Zielinski puts his head down, drives it all over to the left wing. Now looking to drive baseline, stopped by Dowell. Throws it up to Mancina, who will pop a three and knock it down. Manuel Mancia from college range on the left wing hits it to make it 25-21, and Oakley has their largest lead of the night. Kicked out to Finner over to the left wing here for Monk. Monk hesitates inside the lane, just below the free throw line. Back out to Keith in the right corner. Keith with a crossover. He pump fakes the three to Finner at the top of the key. To Dowell left wing for three. No. Rebound underneath Mackley. Mackley might have traveled, but settles down and gets it out here into the hands of Zielinski. Zielinski will walk it up the middle of the floor, taking his time, waits the call from Coach Dardis. Throws over the right wing for Mancia, again for three, in and out, rebound, Jackson up for two, missed that from the left low block as he went up with the left hand and threw it over the iron. Keith brings it up now for the Indians, right to left. Now on the right wing, he pops a three. Keith can't hit. Finner with the rebound inside the lane. Back up for two. No. Rebound. Mackley lost it. Keith ends up with it. Lays it up with a floater. He missed that. Mackley falls to the floor and somehow got it off before he did to Mancina. A lot of chances underneath there for the Indians. Weren't able to pull him down. 1:06 left in the third quarter, 25-21. Left wing Zielinski drives it all the way down to the rack, laid it up for two. No, Mackley loses the rebound. Dowell now taking it coast to coast. He's one-on-one with Mancina. Down right lane line to the rack. Count the bucket. No, but he will be fouled and head of the free throw line to shoot two as he lowered the shoulder right into Mancina's chest. But Mancina, they say, was moving when that happened. And so at the free throw line will be Noah Dowell with his 7 points and a chance to cut this 4-point lead down to 2. And he drains the first shot. Dowell, 1, 2 of 3 from the charity stripe. 25-22. Hoxie down by 3. Have been in front by as many as 10 in the contest. Second one on the way. Yes. Dowell drains them both. He's got 9. 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. 25-23. Hoxie down by 2. Crossing the top line, Zielinski hands it off to Mancia. Mancia with 44 seconds left in the third quarter. Finds a backdoor cutting. Zielinski up against Keith, who will lay it up and in for 2 just beyond the left baseline. Big shot right there by Zielinski. He's got 6. 33 seconds to go in the quarter, 27-23. Dowell coming off of a screen, stops at the top of the key to Foot, over to Keith. Keith driving, left baseline, lays it up for 2 against Mancia, can't get a call. Mackley brings down the rebound, 19 seconds to go, and Beal will slow things up as he brings it across the Eagle at center court here in Colby. Beal with the basketball along the half-court line, crosses over, takes Sheets all the way back out to Mancia, left wing. Mancia in the middle of the lane, pulls up for 2, missed it, rebound, tapped out of bounds with 3 seconds to go in the third quarter. But luckily for Mancia, it'll stay with Oakley, as they say, last touch by Foot. Underneath with the basketball, Mancia gets it inside to Jackson, who turns, fades away with a shot, missed it, rebound brought down by Keith, and that's where the quarter will come to a close. So Hoxie dominates the first half. Oakley dominates the third quarter and leads after 3, 27-23 in the sub-state quarterfinals. This is Hoxie Indian basketball on 101.1 KFNF.
Isn't it a great feeling of assurance when you have 100% insurance? This feeling can be yours on all your insurance. Whether it's business, rental, car, home, farm, health, or life insurance, the friendly folks at Hoxie State Insurance are your independent agents, so they can give you just the precise insurance at the lowest rate possible. Agents Shane, Clara Lou, Garrett, or Dustin will help you attain personal assurance with first-rate insurance. Hoxie State Insurance.
Hey, babe.
Hey, ready for the movie night? Picked up all your favorite snacks.
I don't know. Is your internet gonna buffer all night again?
It's not that bad.
It happens every time we hang at your place.
More time for snacks.
Why are you still putting up with this? I can't believe you haven't switched to Nextech yet.
Expect better. Get the internet connection you deserve with Nextech Wi-Fi. Get 1 gig home internet for just $69 a month. Plus your first bill is on us. Visit next-tech.com to learn more.
listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
7:48 left in the fourth quarter. Mancia along the left baseline has his shot blocked. He's able to get it back as Oakley starts with it to start fourth quarter. Goes back against Foot and again has his shot blocked. Long throw up the floor. Keith on the drive. Pulls it back out with a behind-the-back dribble. Gets it out here to Dowell. Dowell steps into a right wing three. Misses it off front iron, and Jackson will bring it down. Indians can't make it from behind the arc here in the second half after a great first half from behind the arc. Over to the right corner for Renner. Renner faces up, now dribbles it to the top of the key, over to Jackson just inside the right arc. Jackson crossing over, pulls it back out of the right elbow, finds Beal for three. You betcha. Carson Beal with 5 points, 30-23. The largest lead of the night for Oakley is now 7 with 7:02 to go in the fourth quarter. With the ball is Dowell, throws over the left wing. Keith has Foot wide open. Foot against Coleman, has his shot blocked, and then trying to regain the loose ball will be fouled with 6:55 to go in the fourth quarter. The foul against Foot. And that is the fourth on Charlie Foot, so he will check out of the contest here with 6:55 to go in the fourth quarter of play. Oakley with the basketball. Up the middle of the floor, across the timeline is Beal. Beal gets it inside to Coleman. Coleman spins over the right shoulder, up for two. Can't get the roll. Tapped around Renner, back up for two. He missed that. Coleman on the backside of the rebound, lost it off a hand. But they say last touched underneath by a white jersey, and it stays there with the Plainsmen. So Hoxie going to have to rally here down the stretch. They've scored just 6 points in the second half. Lob pass up to Beal, gives it back to Mancina. Mancina with the ball in the right corner. Mancina off of a screen, now between the rings, throws it to Beal, inside to Coleman. Coleman ripped away by Dowell. Beal picked it up. Now he's trying to throw it back across the floor. Dowell will pick off the pass again. Dowell up the middle of the floor, finds Sheets. Sheets with a power dribble, goes up for two, and missed it just inside the lane on the left side. The Indians can't take advantage of that turnover there. Now Beal with the basketball on the right wing. Gets a handoff to Renner. Renner looking to turn the corner down right lane line. Feeds it inside to Beal, who found some space. Missed the layup, got it back, and he lays it up and in for two again. Carson Beal with 7 points. We got a timeout on the floor from Hoxie. It's a 9-point Oakley lead, 32-23, with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. This is Hoxie Indian Basketball here on 101.1 KFNF.
At Nutrient Ag Solutions, they believe in the 4 R's. 1, the right kinds of fertilizer and chemical to apply. 2, the right time to apply fertilizer and chemicals. 3, the right amount of fertilizer and chemical to use. And 4, the right place to apply fertilizer and chemical. Stop by Nutrient Ag Solutions and sharpen up your 4 R's before planting season arrives. They will be glad to work the 4 R's into your farming program. That's Nutrient Ag Solutions, just west of Hoxie, where they sell fertilizer, buy, specialize, and service.
High school athletics on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
So Hoxie has led in the game by as many as 10, but now find themselves down 32-23 in the fourth with 6 minutes to go. Oakley led after 3, 27-23. They put up 17 points in the third quarter, which is all Hoxie had of the first half. Just 6 in the second half for Hoxie here. With the basketball is Sheets. Sheets throws it over to Dowell, over to the left wing here for Keith. Back to Dowell at the top of the key to the right wing for Sheets. Back to Dowell, over to Keith. Keith inside to Finner. Finner dumps it off underneath to Beckman. Triple teamed. Throws it out to Sheets to Dowell at the top of the key. Pump fakes Dowell down the left lane line. Count the bucket and one! Noah Dowell with an acrobatic floater inside the middle of the lane. Puts it in for two. And has a chance for one more. 32-25 now. That might be the spark that Hoxie needed. Dowell with 11. The foul is against Coleman, his third, and one from Dowell. Missed it. Rebound, tapped out. He was in the hands of Finner, but he lost it. And back to Oakley it goes. So here come the Plainsmen across the timeline. Beal calling out a screen, hesitates on the left wing, hands it off to Renner. Renner looking inside, gives it back to Beal. Beal gets it inside to Jackson on the left, low block. Coming in to get it is Finner, and he'll cause a jump ball. Actually, that's Braden Sheets. Great job by Sheets going with the automatic double of Jackson, and it led to a jump ball underneath. And Hoxie's been trying to do that all night. Finally works, and Hoxie will get the ball back here. 5:16 to go in the fourth quarter of play, 32-25. Dowell across the timeline, fakes the three, inside of the short corner, Beckman, back to Dowell. Dowell, one dribble, out to Keith, left wing three, off front iron, rebound brought down by Beal. Beal up the near side, crosses over, and brings it across the middle of the floor. Now transfers it over to the left wing, hands it off to Zielinski. Zielinski spinning off of Dowell, now takes it down, and a foul will be called. And Trent Finner didn't like the call. Dowell, a little bit of body there, and that might have resulted in it. Just the second from Noah Dowell, who fouled out in this game of the regular season, and it was the change of the game as well. But he still ended with 17 points and didn't play the final 2 overtime periods. Tonight, he's got 11, and they're going to need him to step up down the stretch here. Hoxie down 7, 32-25, 4:49 left in the fourth quarter. Crossing the timeline, Beal. Beal with the basketball on the right wing, hands it off here to Renner. Renner down the right lane line, lays it up for 2, missed it. Mackley with a rebound, and then a foul will be called, and they're going to call it on foot. No, okay, yes, they called it right. It looked like the official was looking at Mackley at foot for the foul, but instead they give it to Mackley. It'll be his third. Right call there. Across the timeline with the ball is Dowell. Gives it off above the volleyball line to Sheets as he sets things up. Sheets dribbles it to the left wing to Dowell at the top of the key using a screen. Comes off of it, pulls up from 15 from the right elbow. No, foot with the rebound. Lost it. Sheets picks up the loose ball. Back out to Dowell, over to Sheets. Back to Dowell, top of the key to Sheets again. Sheets one dribble, gives it back to Dowell, avoids a defender, back to Sheets. Left wing three, can't dial it up. Backside rebound, Keith with the dribble, keeps it up. And Coach Moss is not liking that call at all, as he went falling down to the floor. And Coach Moss got to be careful here. He doesn't want to get a technical down the stretch, but he did not like that call at all because Keith went up in the middle of the air and got shoved down. I agree with Coach Moss there, but just maybe not with as much animosity. Left wing for Zielinski. Now at the top of the key, over to the right wing here, into the hands of Renner. Renner finding Beal cutting across, stolen away by Foot. The push ahead to Keith. Keith to the rack, lays it up, and he will be fouled this time. And out of the free throw line to shoot 2. Great pass from Foot, who got the steal in the middle of the lane, and then passed it basically from there down the middle of the floor. It's turnover number 10 from Oakley. And at the free throw line is Keith, and he drains it. Keith, with just the lone 3 in the game, now has 4 points. He's 1 of 1 from the charity stripe, 32-26. Hoxie back within 6. 3:51 to go in the fourth. Make it 5 as Keith drains both free throws. 32-27. 5-point game, 3:47 left in the fourth quarter, and Carson Beal dribbles it across half court, calls timeout, and we'll take one with them. 32-27. Hoxie down by 5 in the 2A Sub-State quarterfinals. Here on 101.1 KFNF.
You have a lot of banks to choose from, but there's one bank with 13 northern Kansas locations to help your financial goals become a reality. The bank. No, not the bank. The bank that provides the needed experience you deserve. The bank's full range of banking services includes personal, commercial, and home loans, specialty ag financing, investments, and more. That's why they're the bank to go to. Come to where the difference is better. The bank. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
3:42 left in the fourth quarter of play, and the lob pass from Beal as he was looking for Renner cutting along the right baseline is thrown about 10 feet over his head and out of bounds. So Oakley, couple of turnovers down the stretch here, giving Hoxie some more possessions. Sheets with the ball, calling out the play. Now dribbles it over to the right wing, comes off of a screen, gives it out to Foot, over to Dowell on the left wing. Dowell hesitates, crosses back over, hesitates inside the lane with a big jump step to Sheets. Sheets with a 5-foot floater, gets the roll off the back iron. Braden Sheets with 3 points, makes it 32-29. Back to a 3-point game here. With the basketball, Zielinski at the top of the key, down inside the arc from 15, pulls it back out to Renner, over to Beal on the right wing. Beal with the basketball, rejects the screen, drives right baseline, lobbed it up, stolen away underneath, and Hoxie will get the ball back. 12th turnover from the Plainsmen. Long throw ahead to Foot, out to Keith for the tie. You betcha! Aaron Keith from downtown. He's got 8, and we're knotted up at 32. Over to the right wing, driving Zielinski, right baseline. Lot of contact between him and Foot, no call, and Zielinski puts it in for 2 from just beyond the right block. 34-32, Oakley now. Dowell steps back, pulls it back out here. Finner over to Keith again for 3. This time no, and Mackley brings down the rebound. 2:22 left in the fourth. Hoxie down 9, goes on a 9-0 run to tie, and then Oakley breaks that 9-0 run to take the lead back 34-32. Zielinski with the ball on the right wing, looking to drive, right lane line, pulls it back out. Zielinski in trouble on the right elbow, throws it to Beal on the left wing, trying to get it inside, knocked away at the high post. Sheets comes up with the ball to Dowell, transition 3, no, rebound, Foot will save it back in bounce as he dives away. But Hoxie with a couple of threes down the stretch there that just couldn't go. Crossing the timeline with the ball is Beal. Beal along the near sideline, now crosses over hard, dribbles it all the way to the left wing, hands it off for Renner. Renner between the rings, gives it back to Beal in the left wing. Beal guarded heavily by Sheets, throws it up to Zielinski. Zielinski using a screen, down, left lane line, pulls up from 15, no. Rebound, tapped around, Zielinski along the sideline, will have it go off his hands and out of bounds. Oakley fans wanting a foul, and Dowell might have got away with one right there. 1:26 left in the fourth. 34-32, Oakley in front. Hoxie in the second half with just 15 points, while Oakley has scored quite a few as well. 24 from Oakley in the second half. Crossing the timeline, here is Sheets with the basketball, sets things up, throws over the right wing for Finner, to Dowell, to Foot at the top of the key, over to Keith. Keith on the drive, looking backdoor, cutting down, all over to the rack, gonna lay it up and in for 2, and we're tied at 34 with 1:08 left. Beal to push, gets it off to Zielinski on the right wing. Zielinski hands it off to Mancia. Mancia looking inside, back out to Beal. Beal hands it off to Zielinski. Under a minute to go. Zielinski from 15 inside the lane. No. Rebound tapped out. Keith falls to the floor. Mancia gets it back, drives, finds wide open. Coleman for 2. He missed it. Got his own board. Back up for 2 again. It swirls around and goes home. Are you kidding me? And Charlie Foot might have been whistled for the foul there. If it is, that'll be his 4th. And right after Jonah Coleman missed the first one, he drains the second. And when I say it toilet bowled all the way around, that's what it did. Touched every part of the rim and dropped home. 36-34. Oakley can take a 3-point lead here with Coleman's free throw, and they can't. The rebound brought down by Keith. Keith up the near side. Keith brings it across the timeline. Keith with the basketball, and Coach Jake Moss wants a timeout, and we will keep it right here. So Jonah Coleman with his first 2 points of the game gives Oakley a 36-34 lead with 39.3 seconds to go. Jake Moss calls a timeout for the Indians, and we'll keep it right here. I'd like to thank some more of our sponsors today: Aqua Shield Roofing, Bainter Oil, Decatur Health, First State Bank of Hoxie, Hoxie State Insurance, Next Tech, Nutrient Ag Solutions of Hoxie, The Bank, Watkins Insurance and Realty, Woofeter Pump and Well, Ray's Grocery, Decatur Co-op, United Northwest Federal Credit Union, Equity Bank. Big thank you to all of them for helping us support Hoxie Indian Athletics here on 101.1 KFNF. Aaron Keith with a huge 3, and then it's been back and forth, each team trading buckets since then. Hoxie has set up some really great plays here over the last few minutes. and it has led to a bunch of buckets, but they've got a lot of turnovers as well. Dow will inbound along the far sideline, gets it in here to Finner. Finner at the top of the key, trying to get it off to a ball handler, and it's into the hands of Sheets. Sheets calls out the signals, drives down, right lane line, finds some space, and lays it up and in for two. He slips behind the defense and ties us at 36 with 22 seconds to go. Beal with the ball, left wing, gets some separation from Sheets, comes off of a screen, hands it off to Zielinski with 15. Zielinski with his back to the basket. Now we'll have a timeout called by Coach Dardis with 14.1 seconds to go, 36 to 36. 3 fouls for each team. Braden Sheets, Trent Fitter got the ball from Dow, who inbounded from the near sideline. That's what I should have said instead of far sideline, but he inbounded right in front of us in our broadcast position here on the north side of the gym. And he got it into Finner at the top of the key, and then Finner for about 2 or 3 seconds was looking for a ball handler, got it to Sheets, who came off of a screen and just slipped behind every big guy on the floor for Oakley. They were not expecting him to take that in deeper down the right lane line, and when he did, he was a wide open layup and a walk-in bucket. 36 all, 14.1 seconds to go. Aaron Dardis and Coach Jake Moss, and you heard Coach Moss talk about it in the pregame show, played for Dardis. So the protege and the mentor going after it tonight. And it's just like two heavyweights, kind of same team battling out as they both have the same philosophy. If you watch the warm-ups, they both kind of have the same warm-up routine too. And you kind of know where Coach Moss got some of that. 14.1 seconds to go. 36-36 in quarter number 4. This is to move on to the 2A sub-state semifinals. And Oakley will inbound across from their own bench, just a little bit above the free throw line. Jackson will be the one to inbound. Then it's Coleman, Mancina, Zielinski, and Beal on the floor. Dowell, Sheets, Keith, Foote, and Finner on the floor for the Indians. Oakley with the basketball. As they inbound here, they get it into Beal. Beal guarded by Sheets with 11 seconds to go. Sheets above his head, dribbles it over here, now has it inside the half-court circle, down to 6, down to 5, and Coach Dardis wants another timeout. As the original play that he drew up, I don't think worked there. And now with 4.8 seconds to go, Coach Dardis will have to draw something up quick, and I'm thinking they're going to try to get it into Jackson inside and let him go to work. Zielinski, a great three-point shooter, has not made a three tonight. And Oakley, as a team, has just made one, and that was Manuel Mancia's early in the third quarter there from the parking lot. Oakley led this thing 32-23 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. We're now tied at 36 all. Hoxie at one point in the first half led by 10 at 14-4. So it's been a game of leads and then losing leads. And Hoxie is just trying to keep it tied for another 4.8 seconds. Oakley again will inbound across from their own bench, this time closer to half court. Just a couple of steps away from the timing strip. Jackson will be the one to inbound. Gets the ball from the official. Jackson looking to get it in, and Oakley will call another timeout. So we'll keep it right here. And every time the ball gets into Jackson's hands, the tension just rises up in this building. The Hoxie faithful are on their feet. The game being played in Colby tonight due to that restraining line, and Hoxie not able to play on their home floor. But the Hoxie faithful have traveled very well, but so has Oakley, as they take up most of behind the Oakley bench. And then on our position north of the bench here, they have got most of that taken care of. Have a little student section to my left as well. But Hoxie faithful standing up on their feet very loud as well, as the Hoxie Indians here try to punch their ticket to the 2A sub-state semifinals, but it's just got to try to keep it tied here with 4.8 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. And Coach Dardis is talking with Oakley, with his team, and wants a timeout again. So this time, he calls a 30-second timeout as he's still trying to draw up the play. Don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign, or I've never really seen it. You see this in football where the opposing team tries to ice a kicker or a last-second play with a timeout. Instead, is Coach Dardish trying to ice Hoxie as the defensive team. Hoxie being on defense, I should say. Is Coach Dardish trying to do the same, or does he want this great play to get set up here? Maybe he changed his mind on what he wants. Jackson will not inbound this time. Instead, it will be Beal. So Beal will inbound across essentially from the press table, just a few steps behind half court. Beal looking to get it in, slaps the ball here. Beal looking, gets it into Mancia with 4. Mancia with 3. Mancia in trouble, back to Beal. Beal, as the shot goes off, misses it, and we will head to overtime. Beal got a clean look just inside the arc with about 3 seconds to go. But with about 1 second to go, but it goes off the mark, and we head to overtime here in quarter here from Oakley. Here from Colby. We'll take a break, come back with overtime. 36-all between Hoxie and Oakley. I'm on 101.1 KFNF.
Have you heard these 3 rules of nature? Rule number 1, weather always wins. Rule number 2, sometimes weather plays rough. Drought, freeze, flood, hail, lightning, high winds, they can all ruin your crop and your livelihood. And rule number 3, multi-peril and crop hail insurance from Watkins Insurance in Hoxie. Visit Dan and Steve at Watkins Insurance soon. They can show you a multi-peril crop insurance plan that puts you and nature on a level playing field. That's right, individual protection plans from Watkins, such as RP and YP. Watkins Insurance, an equal opportunity provider.
High school athletics on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
36-36 as we begin overtime in the 2A sub-state quarterfinals between Oakley and Hoxie. These two met up just once in the regular season. It went to double overtime. The final in that one was 57-55. We're a long way off from that. Oakley wins the tip. Beal hands it off to Renner. Renner puts his head down left lane line of the rack, lays it up, missed it. Foot taps it into the hands of Keith. And Keith will race it up the middle of the floor and bring it across the timeline. Keith with the basketball off of a screen, stops at the top of the key, gives it off here into the hands of Dowell. Dowell stops at the top of the key, now gives it over to Sheets. Sheets with the basketball on the left wing. Sheets now with it on the left wing steal, hands it off, now dribbles it to the right elbow to Dowell. Hoxie waiting for everything. Dowell resets the offense here, lobs it up to Foot, top of the key to Sheets. Left wing 3, you betcha! Braden Sheets knocks it down. He's got 8, and Hoxie leads by 3 again, 39-36. 3:03 left in the overtime. Mancia with the ball, left wing. Mancia now right at the top of the circle. The right wing, guarded by Dowell. In and out move. Dribbles it over to the left wing. Gives it off to Beal. Beal with a left-handed dribble, throws it over to Renner. Renner back to Beal. Beal in the right corner. Gives it back to Jackson. Back to Beal in the right corner. Wants the screen. Dumps it off to Coleman underneath, who forces his way up for 2. And Foot will be whistled for a foul, and that'll be his 5th. If I have it right. No, it's going to be called on Trent Finner. And that'll be Trent's 4th. So Foot staying into the contest. First one of the way for Coleman is off the mark. Coleman went to the free throw line with an and one late in the 4th and missed it. He makes that. Oakley wins the game. 39-36 Hoxie, 2:41 left in overtime. Second one on the way, drops it home. Coleman now 1 of 3 from the charity stripe, 39-37. Hoxie leads by 2, overtime number 1. Crossing the timeline with the basketball is Dowell, off of a screen, stops, fakes the 3, over to Finner, back to Sheets on the left wing. Sheets inside the arc at the top of the key to Foot, over to Keith. Keith off of a screen, stops from 15, gives it back out here to Finner, over to Dowell. Dowell crossing over, Dowell down, left lane line, pulls it back out, left baseline to Foot. Foot at the top of the key, over to Sheets, everything resets again. Sheets off the screen, inside the arc, over to Finner, back to Keith. Keith crossing over, down left baseline to the rack, blocked by Jackson, and Jackson gets it out to Beal. Beal up the near side, now crosses over middle of the floor, finds Renner cutting the hoop down right lane line, and will lay it up and in for 2. Levi Renner with 4, and we're knotted up again at 39 with 1:50 left in the 4th quarter. Dowell across the timeline. Jake Moss, hands in the air, calling out the signals. Gives it off to Sheets. Sheets off of a screen. Hesitates at the right elbow. Back out to Dowell at the top of the key. Between the legs dribble. Guarded by Beal. Now over the right wing. Using the screen from Finner. Gets it inside to Finner. Finner guarded by Jackson. Was looking backside. Pulls it back out to Foot. Foot with a skip pass to Keith in the left corner. Keith hesitates. The three on the left wing. Top of the key for Finner. Over to Sheets. Sheets driving. Right baseline of the rack. He'll lay it up and in for two. But a foul will be called before he gets to the basket. And this foul will go against Oakley. That'll be their fourth. 1:21 left in overtime. 39-39. Hoxie with a big three to start. A made free throw from Coleman and then a bucket from Renner is how Oakley tied it. Sheets with the ball. Gets it into Keith. Over to Dowell. Dowell on the right wing, using a screen from Finner. Hesitates inside the arc. Gives it off to Foot. Over to Keith. Left wing three. Off the mark. Rebound. Tapped out. Backside rebound. Brought down by Beal. Beal looking to push as we'll take under a minute. Throws it over to Zielinski. Zielinski looking to drive against Dowell. Has to pull it back out as we tick under a minute. 58 seconds to go. Inside to Coleman. It's through his hands. And now Hoxie has got the ball back. Crossing the timeline, Dowell. He'll set things up here as Sheets has the ball between the rings. 45 seconds to go in the overtime. Foot to Keith. Keith looking to hand it off. Does to Dowell, who pulls up from 15. Can't hit. Rebound. Jackson just inside the lane. Even with the left block. Beal up the near side. 30 seconds to go in overtime. 39 all. Zielinski off of a screen. Gets it back out to Renner above the volleyball line with 23. Renner back to Jackson. Jackson one-on-one with Finner. Gives it back to Beal. Beal with 17. Beal hands it off to Zielinski on the left wing with 14. Down to 13. Beal turning the corner. Down right lane line. Kicks it out. Jackson wide open three. No. Rebound. Tracked down by Sheets with 6. With 5. And we got a timeout on the floor. Taken by Jake Moss with 4.8 seconds to go in overtime. The Indians will have to go 3/4 of the court or more to get a shot off here. As Hoxie, Coach Moss still looking at where the ball is going to be. The official is standing basically even with the last chair on the Oakley bench, which is kind of at the end of the grandstands, about even with the right block on Oakley's side. 39 all, 4.8 seconds to go in overtime. Hoxie down by 9 with 6 minutes left in the fourth, a 9-0 run to tie. Then it was back and forth the rest of the way. And now here in overtime, just 1-3 for the Indians from Braden Sheets, 2 points from Dowell for Oakley, 1 from Coleman on a free throw. And that's how we sit at 39 all. Sheets will inbound in front of the Oakley bench. Sheets gives it off to Dowell. Dowell up the near side. Dowell across half court. Stops inside the arc at the buzzer. No! And that's where overtime number 1 comes to an end. Dowell taking it from 3/4 court up the near side, crossing over at half court. Got it inside the arc, but the horn sounds as his shot misses. We're through overtime number 1. Still knotted up at 39 between Oakley and Hoxie here on 101.1 KFNF.
Woofter Pump and Well Incorporated of Hoxie is your state licensed Kansas Water Well Association member. They can help you with all your water needs. They service and drill stock wells, domestic wells, environmental wells, and irrigation wells. Let them handle all your water maintenance problems, from drilling to water pump installation. They will do it all. Give Woofter Pump and Well a call today, 785-675-3991, or stop in and visit them on Highway 24 in Hoxie.
Where hometown charm meets fresh market dreams. Ray's Grocery in downtown Oberlin is a feast for the senses. Hand-picked produce, sizzling steaks, and hearty roasts await your dinner table. Quality soars in every aisle. Shopping at Ray's is a breeze, leaving the heavy lifting to them as they escort your groceries right to your car. Experience the difference at Ray's Grocery. Fresh, friendly, and always local. Ray's Grocery in downtown Oberlin.
Listening to Hoxie Indian Basketball on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
Start of overtime number 2 here from Colby. and the 2A Sub-State quarterfinals, 39 all between Hoxie and Oakley. With the basketball inside the arc is Renner, pulls it back out to Mancina. Mancina with it back to the basket inside the right wing arc, pulls it back out to Jackson. Jackson hands it off to Beal, who turns the corner with a floater just above the right low block. He missed it. Keith up the near side. Up the far side, brings it across the timeline. Now with the ball on the right wing, gives it off to Foot, back to Keith. Keith off of a screen, gets it out to Finner, over to Dowell, and everything will reset for Hoxie. 3:20 left in the overtime number 2. Left wing for Hoxie. Back to Sheets. Sheets on the left wing to Dowell in between the rings. Dowell inside here to Finner. Takes one dribble, kicks it back out. Here, now 3-ball on the way for Dowell. Off front iron. Jackson brings down the rebound. Jackson gets it out to Beal, and Beal will bring it up the near side of the floor. Left to right across the timeline. 2:55 left in overtime number 2. Over to the right wing, Mancina. Inside to Jackson. Over the right shoulder. Puts it up and in for 2 with the left hand. Jackson, the lefty, puts it in for 2. Gives Oakley the 41-39 lead. Keith to Dowell. Transition 3. You betcha! No one else is. I'll put the team on my back and give us the lead. 42-41, 2:30 left in overtime number 2. Hoxie with a 1-point lead. With the basketball, top of the key, Renner dribbles it over left to the top of the key to Mancina. Mancina looking to get a screen from Jackson. He does, trying to find a backdoor cutting Beal. Knocked away by Sheets, and a turnover, and Hoxie will peek it up. Up the middle of the floor here across the timeline comes Dowell. Dowell with the basketball to the left wing for Keith. Back to Dowell, inside of the high post for Finner. To Keith, back to Dowell. Dowell with the basketball on his right hip, 2:02 left, skip pass to Sheets. Back to Dowell, over to the left wing for Keith, inside high post to Finner. Back out to Dowell. Dowell back to Finner, over to Keith. Keith gives it back to Dowell as Hoxie trying to waste time. 1:48 left in overtime number 2, 42-41. Dowell with the basketball, top of the key, inside of the high post, Finner. Back out to Keith, he fakes the 3. Back to Dowell. Dowell looking to drive, switches places. No foul called there after the ball was almost slapped away from him. 1:33 left in overtime number 2. Dowell lobs it up to Finner at the high post. Back to Dowell, over to Keith. Keith fakes the post, fakes the pass inside to Foot. Back to Keith, now to Foot. Foot skips it over. Here to Sheets on the right wing. Sheets with the basketball, holding it there. 1:16 left in overtime number 2. Hoxie supporting a 1-point lead, 42-41. At the top of the key, Dowell over to Sheets. Back to Dowell. Dowell into the high post here for Sheets. Back out to Dowell. Dowell gives it back to Keith, and a foul will finally come in with 1 minute to go in overtime number 2. Hoxie just wasted a good minute and a half just throwing the basketball around before Oakley was finally whistled for their fifth foul. It puts Aaron Keith at the line to shoot. His first one is on the way, and it's up and in. Keith, 9 points tonight. He's 3 of 3 from the charity stripe, 52% on the season. It's 43-41 Hoxie with 1 minute to go in overtime number 2. Time out of the floor taken by Oakley, and Keith will have one free throw out of the timeout. What a game here tonight. Why not have these two teams go to overtime twice? Again, they went to overtime in the regular season matchup, double overtime of the regular season matchup, and here we are in double overtime as well. But Hoxie with a 43-41 lead. Hoxie, it was kind of reversed this time. Hoxie was the one with a 37-29 lead after 3. This time, 6 minutes to go in the fourth, Oakley led 32-23. Hoxie went on a 9-0 run to tie it, back and forth in the fourth. Then just 3 points apiece in overtime number 1. And here in overtime number 2, Hoxie with 4, and it could be 5 with a key free throw to make it a 3-point game at 44-41, which would be huge. Neither team has shot the ball well from behind the arc, but have been able to make it when they need it. Keith, the second end, the back end of the 2 shots, drains it. He's got 10, 4-4 from the charity stripe, 44-41. Jackson with the ball at the top of the key, 54 seconds to go. Renner throws it back to Zielinski, pops a 3, misses it. Rebound, Jackson inside, up for 2. He'll be fouled as he got the rebound directly right to him. It went off the back iron right at Jackson into his hands in the middle of the lane from about 6 feet away. Fouled on his way back up. That foul is against Foot. his 5th, and so he will foul out in overtime number 2 with 48.5 seconds to go. Jackson at the free throw line. All he can do here is cut it to 1. First one on the way for Mason, and it's off the mark. Mason Jackson, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe. Back there again as he puts that toe on the nail. 48.5 seconds to go. Second one for Jackson. Drains it. Jackson with 12, 4 of 5 from the charity stripe, and barely getting the ball in to Dowell is Hoxie along the far sideline. And he was just pushed right over. Dowell kind of calling maybe for a little bit of an intentional foul as Oakley wanted to foul him right away. 44-42 in overtime number 2. The foul there is against Carson Beal, his 2nd. At the free throw line is Noah Dowell, 67% free throw shooter. He's 3 of 5 tonight, and to make it 3 of 6 as he misses the first and keeps it at a 2-point game. Could have made it a 2-possession game there. But instead it'll stay with a 1-possession game even if he makes this one. Next one up for Dowell, drops it home. He's got 17 points. He's 4 of 7 from the charity stripe, 45-42. Beal hands it off to Zielinski, puts his head down, gets it back to Beal. Beal dribbling it down, left lane line of the rack, lays it up. He's fouled. This time it'll be by Sheets, and Sheets went to the free throw line, and Beal went to the free throw line to shoot 2. Hoxie, even though the player's not liking the fouls, it's actually helping him with this 3-point lead. Beal at the free throw line. His first one up, off front iron. Ugly shot there from Beal. And he didn't like it either when it came out of his hands. Kind of made a grimace in face. 45-42. Hoxie with a 3-point lead. 36.1 seconds to go in double overtime. Couple of dribbles for Beal. Second one up. Missed them both. Rebound middle of the lane. Brought down by Beckman. And Renner will foul him going around his body. Carson Beal missing 2 free throws down the stretch. He's now 0 for 3 in the game. Beckman will head to the free throw line here to shoot 2, who replaced Charlie Foote, who just fouled out a few seconds to go. Beckman, no points, 36% free throw shooter. And his first one is on the way. It's off the mark. Beckman, now 0 for 1 from the charity stripe. Steps back there, had 4 against Phillipsburg, none tonight. 3 dribbles, goes up with a second free throw and drains it. So he's 1 of 2, 1 point for Beckman, 46-42. Beal with the basketball, throws it up to Jackson, over the left wing for Renner. To Zielinski off the screen, pulls up from 3, might have got fouled or had it tipped. Beckman comes down with the rebound. They give it out here to Dowell, and Dowell's going to bring it across the timeline. 4-point game, down to 15 seconds. Dowell crossing all over, and Moss will call a timeout with 11.5 seconds to go. Charlie Foote banging his way into everybody coming off the floor. Love the enthusiasm from the young man there, the senior, knowing how much this one matters. 46-42, 11.5 seconds remain, and double overtime. Hoxie in front. They were able to get a lead and then have to force Oakley to foul, and that's kind of what each team had been wanting over this last few minutes of the game, and neither team could find it as they were just exchanging buckets. Hoxie finally able to gain some space here in this overtime number 2. 46-42, Hoxie by 4. They got to hold the ball for the next 11.5 seconds. And expect Coach Dardis here to I would expect some traps. I would expect some physical defense here. But Noah Dowell, great ball handler, understands it. They've got Sheets out there, along with Trent Finner, Aaron Keith, and Max Beckman. A lot of experience on the floor here for Hoxie. All of them seniors out on the floor right now. Sheets will inbound across from his own bench. Gets it in. Long pass down the floor as he lobbed it in here to Dowell. And Dowell will await the foul. And there it is here from Beal with 9.7 seconds to go. And Noah Dowell, the free throw line hasn't been his best friend per se today. Just 4 of 7. But he's got 2 of the biggest free throws of his entire career at the free throw line here. First one on the way for Dowell. It's up and in. Pure. Touched nothing but nightline. He's got 18 points. Noah Dow with 15 in the second half. Missing the second. Jackson with a rebound. 47-42. Zelensky up the near side, dribbles it all the way down, loses the ball on the other end. It's taken away there by Dowell, and Dowell will let the time run off, and the Indians survive the Plainsmen again and get the win to move on to the 2A Sub-State Semifinals with a 47-42 win over Oakley in a thriller tonight in double overtime from Colby High School. The Indians have played Oakley twice this year. Both of them went into double OT, and both times Hoxie sends Oakley home with a bitter taste in their mouth. And Hoxie is going on to the 2A Sub-State Semifinals in 2025 with a double overtime 47-42 win. Take a break, come back with your final numbers here on 101.1 KFNF.
It's costing more and more to fill up your gas tank these days. When you pay at the pump at Decatur Co-op, you pay less, and you don't have to be a member to enjoy great competitive rates. Decatur Co-op has pay at the pump in Lenora, Jennings, Oberlin, and Herndon, Kansas, along with Danbury, Nebraska. Plus, you don't have to worry about whether it's cash or credit. All prices are the same, and Decatur Co-op accepts all major credit cards and the Decatur Co-op Association card. Next time, fill up at Decatur Co-op.
United Northwest Federal Credit Union is spreading the love this season with low rates. Now through the end of March, get rates as low as 5% APR on a 2015 or newer vehicle loan. Whether you are buying a new vehicle or refinancing from another lender, now is the perfect time to treat yourself. Apply now and let UNWFCU help you drive home this great deal. Special terms and conditions apply. Rates are subject to increase. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Say no to bad roofs. Say yes to AquaShield Roofing. With over 17 years of providing A-plus services. Roofs, siding, gutters, windows, doors, and spray foam insulation. Plus, AquaShield Roofing offers a workmanship warranty. For your free estimate, give them a call at 785-475-2533. AquaShieldRoofing.com.
Here come the men in black trucks for all your home needs.
Major Oil and Hoxie will deliver bulk fuel right to your door or farm. Farm diesel, highway diesel, gas or propane. Also oils from quarts to totes up to 275 gallon. Major Oil has been servicing Northwest Kansas for over 40 years. Give them a call today at 785-675-3903. That's 785-675-3903. Or stop by Major Oil in downtown Hoxie. You'll be glad you did.
February is American Heart Month, and since Decatur County is in America, that means it's Heart Month at Decatur Health in Oberlin. American Heart Month is a national awareness campaign to bring to light the fact that heart disease is the leading cause of death in the U.S. This is a great time to schedule a visit with your healthcare provider at Decatur Health, get your annual tune-up, and find out more about heart health and how you can take better care of yourself. It's a win-win all around. Peace of mind for you and your family. Call Decatur Health at 475-2015 or go online at decaturhealth.org.
The First State Bank of Hoxie is ready, willing, and able to serve all your banking needs. Whether it's a checking or savings account, CDs, personal or farm loans, First State Bank of Hoxie can be your bank. They are large enough to serve you, but small enough to know you. And First State Bank of Hoxie is a proud supporter of the Hoxie Indians. Go fight, win with First State Bank of Hoxie. Member FDIC.
High school athletics on 101.1 KFNF, today's best country.
Wrapping things up here from Colby, where it's a Hoxie winner tonight in the 2A Sub-State quarterfinals. The Hoxie Indian boys take down Oakley 47-42 in double overtime. What a game it was tonight as the Hoxie Indians advance on into the 2A Sub-State semifinals. Take you through quarter by quarter. Hoxie led after one 8-4 and 17-10 at half, but would be outscored 17-6 in the third quarter and find themselves down by 4 entering the 4-27-23, but then would outscore Oakley 13-9 in the fourth. to find us at the end of regulation tied up at 36 all. Hoxie at one point in that quarter would actually find themselves down as well, 32-23. They go on a 9-0 run to tie it at 32. Each team trading buckets down the stretch, and we would go into overtime number 1 knotted up at 36. But each team just 3 points in overtime number 1, so we'd go to overtime number 2, tied up at 39 all, and then Hoxie, with a little bit of clearance, would be able to get some free throws and add on to their lead and outscore Oakley 8-3 in overtime number 2 for a 47-42 win. The Indians here tonight will now improve to 14-7 and move on into the sub-state quarterfinals. As for sub-state semifinals, as for the Oakley Plainsmen individually, it's 3 points from Jonah Coleman, 2 from Peyton Mackley, 4 from Levi Renner, 6 from Manuel Mancina, 7 from Carson Beal, 8 from Carter Zielinski, and 12 from Mason Jackson. The Plainsmen go 9 of 15 from the charity stripe here tonight. For the Hoxie Indians, it's 18 for Noah Dowell, 10 for Aaron Keith, 3 for Trent Finner, 3 for Braxton Monk, 8 for Braden Sheets, 4 for Charlie Foote, and 1 for Max Beckman. Hoxie finishes 11 of 17 from the charity stripe. So the Indians now 14-7 will turn their attention to the sub-state semifinals, where they will meet up either with Plainville or Smith Center. Have not heard a final score from that one yet, but they will take on the winner of that one. If it's Smith Center, Hoxie will host, I would assume, back here at Colby High School again coming up on Tuesday. But if Plainville wins, they will be traveling to take on the Cardinals there in the sub-state semifinals. But a big one tonight for Coach Moss and his squad. Hoxie, just 8 wins all of last year, has now won 14 games and is just 2 games away from the state tournament after a thriller tonight. And you knew it was going to be a battle from the start after these two went into double overtime in their one lone regular season matchup. Oakley came to play in the second half, and it really changed things. But Hoxie able to fight through adversity and put up 13 points in the fourth quarter, down 9 with 6 minutes to go. They find a way to tie it up, send it to overtime, and force another overtime, and then win it in double overtime. So Hoxie, once again, now 14-7, moves on to the sub-state semifinals. We will have coverage of that sub-state semifinal matchup wherever it is, right here on 101.1 KFNF, with pregame starting at 6:45 and tip-off at 7 o'clock. That'll be coming up next Tuesday. Don't forget, right here on KFNF, over the next 2 days, we will have state wrestling tournament coverage from Hayes and Gross Memorial Coliseum, following Hoxie, Oakley, Oberlin, Norton, and Rollins County, as all of those areas wrestlers meet there at Gross Memorial Coliseum to battle it out. So, once again, Hoxie wins this one in double overtime, 47-42. I'm Sam Knoll, signing off, saying so long and good night here from Colby.
Always the most and only the best of today's country. The country leader, 101.1 KFNF, Oberlin.